Well, I've just come on to say that there's probably just a little extra work to put into these two little pieces of sea line here. I've kind of laid my knives to the side a little bit because I had to clean out this pan, get all the stuff out of it, all the shavings and all from previous carvings, but we've gotten pretty far on this sea line here, you see, and that is one thing where this area here between the front fin and the back fin, we're going to need to kind of shave that out a little bit, and that's what we did on the first one. We're going to do it on this one too. Try to, you know, get rid of that little excess here and just show a little things that kind of go, and oh, I say a little work goes this way, and this is just one thing that is just doing its little experiment with us, I say. Oh, work our way down to this, and so get a little bit of extra time, extra energy into the work, I say. And so there's been a lot to know in life, a lot to say, a lot to see. You know, I'll tell you a little story about a time when I sort of sewed something out of some old fabric and probably didn't realize that sea lines were different from seals in certain ways, like I've described in these last couple of videos about how their tails are different from that of seals. So I sort of like took some fabric and sewed something years ago, and I called it a sea lion, though I'd say looking back it was really a seal because it kind of had a tail like a seal, and the tail was kind of heart shaped. And you know, the thing is that, you know, anything, it is what it looks like, it's whatever you see in it. So that was what those really turned out to be. And back when I was making the little whales and dolphins with the heart-shaped tails, and kind of did the little seals the same way, they were sea lions to me, but I hadn't really looked into them enough to really be able to see how much difference there really was. So that's why it came down to where I finally just make things the way I make them now. And so we've got the work done here. We've got it all where it all comes down. Little work in our lives. I'd say we got this much done. We got this far along. I think if I find pieces of sandpaper around here, which I've probably already moved to the other side over to the shop, I'd probably try to sand this thing out a little bit. Try to get rid of where the saw marks are on it. And there's probably a piece or two I can find down here to use. So this is where we'll take the work along and put a little extra into it. And I'll tell you all, it's still morning, so just a little time we put into what we are doing. And so, as for the work we do, it's going to make its way down into us and shine itself into us and make us see a little brighter days, lighter days come along with this work. And so we see how much prettier things will turn out. This is here. What I'm using is a light grit of sandpaper. That way we can kind of get rid of the saw marks, but still show a little bit of the facets in the carving, and that's kind of what makes it good enough. And so I'd say that we're not going to perfect things out completely, but I'll tell you, you know, nothing's perfect in every way on this earth. Every time we work along these lines, you know, it's just the things that see a little things in them. And all the things I say, this little work is making its way down to us, making us so we all see a little light and coming into us, and making us all come down to what we all know as far as what we do. We know that sea lions can bark and arf and growl and howl and make those little roars, and they have their little noises both in the Arctic and in the zoo, wherever you find them. So much to watch out for when you're out in places. I've heard one thing, they're not quite as dangerous as a leopard seal, though. If you ever come across a leopard seal, I tell you, leopard seals are those seals that take penguins, you know. They attack penguins, and that's what they eat. So they're kind of more in the Antarctic, in that area, the more like the South Pole area. So you kind of got to watch out for them, because they're the type of creatures that will attack a human too if they get a chance. And I heard all these horrible stories about some scientists down in the Antarctic who've been attacked by leopard seals, and little things that happened to them when they were, and not little things, but horrible things. And so it's just like the horrors of being in places and being around things. And so when creatures kind of interbreed, we come up with different things. You know, there were stories in life about people who got lost at sea, and before we knew about all the myths and stories and stuff about the things that could happen with the creatures, you know, it was always, people blamed it on mermaids and whatnot. Always kind of came up with their own mythical creature things as far as what happened to people when they got lost at sea. And I've even read the story about there being a true event in history that Moby Dick was based on. It was a time when a whale jumped up and split the boat in two. I say, sometimes these historical events, they can mean a lot to us, you know. Oh, the time when the Titanic hit the iceberg. There's a lot we know from what we hear and read, and so there's a lot we find out from what we learn and know. I say that history repeats itself sometimes. It shows up in the news. Sometimes they even tell you stuff in the news from before we even had TV or radio or any of that stuff in their days. Have a little mark to get rid of there. So kind of get rid of little things there. And so get rid of that little line. make it so the little sea line's going to come about, make its way to us, make its way for us. Oh, all times in life, we get a little too silly in times, and it's been the nature of me so much. I'd say there's probably a thing or two we're going to yet do around some of these eyeballs, and probably even put little marks in up for the ears and put little places in for the eyes, maybe even make the nose and the mouth out here. Just a few things we still have yet to get to work on, but we're going to take care of those things. But I'd say as of today, might need to stop the video here because we've kind of gone pretty far as we can with carving the thing, and so I've pretty much gotten all I wanted to say. So thank you for watching. Goodbye. As y'all might come to see, when I stopped the video the last time around, there were a few things I needed to get to work on. I looked at some sea lions on Google to get their faces a little better and finally figure out where I needed to draw certain lines to make the eyes and the ears, the nose and the mouth. And so this is going to require a few different little Dremel bits. Of course, I've probably got some bits that need to be replaced because they were getting old to the point they were getting useless, but I'm going to first of all kind of turn on the little wood burner here and sort of start out taking a little pin like this that is kind of has a little wood burning tip on it and put the ears in with that. And so here's how we got along with the ears. Gotta put little other places in to make the ears in on this other one too. You can see we got those in, and we can now turn off the wood burner, and we can currently kind of take a bit here, and this is the only bit I have right now. I'm going to need to wait until the new year to buy some more so they can go on my business expenses just. But here I'm going to try to put in the eyes. Haven't been that close to it, so it hasn't been that loud to me in so long, but I'd say we kind of got the eyes about equal length where they need to be. We're gonna put them into this other one too. And so this is how we got him to turn out here. We're going to try to think we got it good enough now. It's time to take this one out, put another bit in. This is a bit that's kind of a little rounder that we kind of use to make little noses of things. And so we're going to put that in, and we're going to go along here where the nose is at the top and put that in. So that's how we got it in this one. And we're going to do the same in this one as well. And as for how we're going to do the rest, there's a little place here where we're going to try to put the mouth in next. And we're going to use a different pin from the burner to do that. One that's kind of a little thinner, that kind of gets better lines, like a skew tip. So here we got in the first part of the mouth at the top, and we kind of got to make our way around to the rest. And you can see in the end how we got this little buddy to come out. We're going to try to put a little other mark into this one too, and put it like that, and sort of show our little grace and faith in all we do, and make it so it's going to be a little better to come. Perhaps turned up a little hotter, maybe. Make it a little, so we can kind of darken it in a little bit more. And so it's going to be how it has turned out here. I think while we're at it, we might kind of dab in a little whiskers here. So turn it down, go over to the other pin, kind of heighten it up a little bit, and put little whiskers into the side of the face here. And so, as a matter of fact, we're going to put it all in the face of the little seal or sea lion, whatever you want to say about it. And so come down to where we've got a little piece of sandpaper here with which we can sand certain things away that don't need to be there. And so I say, put a little work down to what it's going to be and like, and then put it all down to where we all see little things in life. And so it don't matter what it's going to come out to be. So we all just kind of got to do things the best we can when it all comes down to working with what we have. And then I say that this is going to be the best gift we're going to have when it all gets over and done. And so I say, let's kind of get away, kind of take care of these little things. We got a little place to take care of here where a little bit of work shall be making its way right in. And so that's how a little work comes its way, making itself so we see better things to come. Of course, I'd say there's probably a place on here that we probably need a little bit of a better grit to get rid of. You see this area under the eye? That was kind of where the Dremel just slipped a little bit, so we kind of got to sand down, get rid of that little spot, and take care of little sea line here. And oh, the heck with this work. Just kind of make it so we shall see how bright all the work shall come to be. And I say, perhaps that gives me another idea. Perhaps put little pigment marks down in under the eyes. Try to make it all the same here. And think I will kind of take the same little pigment marks and put them under these other eyes as well. On this other one too. And so when we all get down to the very last thing, it's all going to be a little work in a little way. When it all comes down to what it shall finally be, it shall be the way that a sea lion is supposed to look. I think we'll put another little whisker down to this one little thing too. Make it so it's going to be a little brighter in the end. And so we finally got the work to come along with this buddy, making him so he's all shiny and new. And so this is how we got him now, with little spectacles like you see. And so that's how much work I wanted to show for now. Just wanted to thank you all again for watching and for coming back on after I kind of had to take a little break in the video. Do want to say that in case I don't come on here before tomorrow or the next day, just wanted to wish you all a happy new year. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.